At the 1993 Tokyo Conference of the International Radio Science Union, 10 astronomers, including China, have proposed building a new generation of radio telescopes. Nearly 20 years later, the Chinese Eye, hosted by Nan Rendong, was successfully launched. Instantly captured by the world's attention. The telescope is 500 meters in diameter and the size of 30 football fields. It is the largest radio telescope in the world. It is 10 times more sensitive than Germany's Bonn 100-meter telescope. The main purpose of radio telescopes is to search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Looking for the first generation of celestial bodies, space weather forecasts, etc. It also serves China's space program. We will further improve our satellite's ability to determine deep space orbit, Chang'e lunar exploration and future deep space exploration to provide demand services. At the very least, radio telescopes are necessary for future exploration of the universe. But as the global electrical environment deteriorates, the planet's ability to communicate continues to grow. It has also had a major impact on radio telescopes' ability to capture cosmic sounds. The eye is big enough for human beings but still tiny in the whole space universe. The nations of the world joined hands, launched the Square Kilometer Radio Telescope Program, or SKA, as the world's largest comprehensive aperture radio telescope. The SKA consists of more than 3,000 reflector antennas and more than 1 million low-frequency antennas. Each reflector antenna is about 15 meters in diameter. The coverage spans more than 3,000 kilometers. The SKA's sensitivity will also be improved. It is about 50 times more sensitive than the world's largest radio telescope. Sky patrol speed will also be increased 10,000 times. It takes about 1,200 hours for international radio telescopes to image Centaurus A. With the SKA, it takes about 10 minutes. Australia's chief executive has said, "When the SKA is operational, humanity will enter a whole new era of mapping the universe. It will also study the Big Bang, the evolution of galaxies and dark energy, the search for extraterrestrial civilization, the study of the cosmic magnetic field and other fundamental problems in astronomy and physics, like the space station and fusion research." SKA is one of the largest scientific projects in history. We'll bring together the best scientists and engineers in the world to complete the project. Mainly by China, India, Italy, Britain, Australia and other 10 founding countries. And 100 organizations in more than 20 countries. China is mainly responsible for the antenna, low and medium frequency aperture array, signal data transmission and other 6 projects. Especially in the core equipment, transceiver antenna design has played a leading role. Because the entire radio telescope is very large. So there are 2 construction sites around the world. Initial sites, Australia, South Africa, China and 4 other countries competed. China and Argentina were ultimately rejected because of geographic conditions and ionospheric instability. Australia and South Africa are candidates, said by the SKA's director. The most important thing in telescope construction is to find an area with minimal interference from radio transmission. Wearing high and medium frequency reflector antenna. It will be built mainly on the African continent with the desert plateau at the core of South Africa. The low frequency antenna will be mainly built in Murchison, Australia. The headquarters is located in the UK. So why not just build a telescope the size of the eye? The director of the British Radio Observatory said, "If you integrate all the reflector antennas together, it will be over 100 kilometers in diameter. Obviously, we can't build a 100-kilometer telescope, but you can build a network of telescopes. And then you connect them together to get the same effect, which is now SKA. But there is also a problem. It is difficult to integrate all the reflector antennas together. Their signal synchronization must be accurate to a billionth of a second. The amount of cable required is also staggering, even after the connection is complete. The computer also analyzes the data received by each telescope. Each reflector telescope produces about 20 gigabytes of data per second. So you need a lot of data processing power. Experts estimate that only the world's most powerful supercomputer could do the job. That task falls to China. China has many of the world's most powerful supercomputers and use experience. SKA will be provided with hardware support in the future. SKA is currently divided into 2 stages. The first phase will run from 2018 to 2023. First, more than 300 low-frequency antennas will be built in Australia. South Africa built 200 reflector antennas. Some of these arrays will begin scientific observations in 2020. The second phase will expand the array antenna to reach the target. It plans to start full operation around 2030. A detailed list of 2 major international joint projects. The space station has helped humans stay in space. And nuclear fusion will completely solve human energy needs. The SKA will also give us a new understanding of the universe. Finally, to explore the mysteries of the universe.